Oh, yeah. I just want you to understand personal bias. Oh. Let's say you file a police report, right? The morning of December 31st of 2015. Yeah. It happens to be New Year's Eve. I'm on the bus that morning thinking about what I'm going to do during the day. Right. I'm emailing law enforcement that my rights are being violated, thinking that you're going to let me have my sons because of the fraud of issuing a protection order. I was wrong. You decided to issue an arrest for myself on the 4th of January. Yes, I was arrested at the Salvation Army having breakfast. You issued it 4 days after this took place, right? And there was or was not any phone calls on that day. Well, what really happened? For those real serious, and I would say domestic violence is serious, or child abuse, I would think that out of 100 real cases of domestic violence or child abuse, 99 of them would have called the police and they would have dialed 911. Now, domestic disturbance calls. Now, domestic disturbance while the other officer talks with any children who may be present. Did my five sons witness this domestic violence that I didn't commit and cause them an immense amount of emotional damage? Because nobody would admit the evidence that I wasn't in Squim. Yeah. They wouldn't admit the evidence that there's forgeries on a protection order. They wouldn't admit the evidence that I was in this library on New Year's Eve of 2015. As if I'm the crazy one for not knowing where I was at, and that you as law enforcement. See these children that may be present, the five minors named, exactly who was there, because this traffic citation doesn't say shit. Most of those that are victims of domestic violence would dial 911. And any children that would have seen the actual two incidents that day, yes, they would have been traumatized. As in somebody was acting like they were myself when I wasn't there? Yes, because I wasn't there. Now, considering the number of times you've arrested me, okay, here's another incident. The state of Washington is the plaintiff. Yes. The two-count criminal complaint of violating a no contact order on or about the 47th birthday of my wife. Yes. I just wanted to know who was it that called 911? What person reported domestic violence or cyber stalking? Somebody must have called the prosecuting attorney, or did they call actual law enforcement? Because my failure to appear arrest, yes, has the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department on it. Now, I know this bias against those that commit domestic violence and child abuse. I happen to have a similar bias, but this corrupt police department right now that does not think that somebody couldn't have filed a two-count criminal complaint, false police report, known as a traffic citation, without documenting what actually happened. Yes, without considering that I wasn't in that city. And there's somebody out there that's well, I'd like to know who called the prosecuting attorney's office, or who was it that called the sheriff's department, because I was not in Brennan, Washington, and I did not contact any individual that Heidi works with. Now, when you think about the importance of the actual telephone calls, who was it, yes, that made the call that alleged domestic violence of myself? I wasn't there. Well, it should have been recorded. 911. Pooh. Or did the school district decide to handle something themselves where children were present and had witnessed something very traumatizing? Now, false police reports, child abuse, abusing, retaliating against me as a father for wanting my rights enforced. Pooch. And now we're involving the children who may have been present during these. Who was it that called the prosecuting attorney or the police department? Well, on or about June 16th of 2017, yeah, you filed a criminal complaint in Jefferson County District Court on August 8th of 2017. Yes, for a court hearing that was going to happen on August 21st of 2017. I had emailed police departments wanting to know what this was about. Yes, and you sent to 1023 Kitchen Dick Road the actual documentation. Now, I'm the father of 5 sons. Yeah. You keep arresting me and telling me that I'm crazy for not realizing, right, that domestic violence and child abuse is a very serious crime. Now, this originating agency known as Jefferson County Sheriff's Department, officer number 638, yes. And there should have been an originating agency case number, yes. Exactly how the fuck, right now? I wasn't in Brennan, right. I contacted law enforcement wanting to know what this 2-count criminal complaint was in District Court of Jefferson County. You arrest me for a failure to appear. I get video arraigned. I tell the judge to read the protection order. I hadn't been to Brennan in 15 years. I don't know where she works. Yes, I don't really know where she works. I can Google her name, okay? But it looks to me, where's the phone call? Is it on the recorded line of the prosecuting attorney's office? Is it Carol Kirk, the crisis responder? Exactly who was it that initiated this 2-count criminal complaint? Because I'm the one that's been going to court for the last 14 months, and you're the ones that have been saying that you're going to admit me to a mental facility. And you're going to administer psychotropic medication against my will. Now, for some reason, you don't take seriously domestic violence and child abuse. Now, this says once the involved parties are calm, yeah, most parents, if asked tactically, will allow an officer to talk with their children, and may even appreciate the officer's offer to allay a child's fear that someone has been hurt or is going to jail. See, when my wife made a phone call at 7 a.m. on the same day that she left Guam, yes, I found it interesting. We were having this argument about spending the welfare money, and she wanted to take half of it and go buy new clothes that morning. Yes, because it was the day after we received our welfare money. Everybody on Guam got food stamps and welfare on the same day, the first of the month. Yes. Well, it couldn't have been 2 or 3 minutes from the time that I had actually had the argument with her to when the police department had appeared almost magically. Now, I thought there was no possible way that they could have driven from the location of the police station to the Guam Airport Hotel, yes, in 2 minutes. Pooch. Why don't you get me the phone call to the Tumon Police Department? I'd like to know, did Heidi dial 911? Poop. I thought they were waiting a block away as if it was all premeditated. Now, when somebody kind of arranges for someone to get arrested, yes, because of a false police report of domestic violence or child abuse, and then has that somebody put in jail for 10 days, right, so that somebody known as Policy Budnick can go through diversion, yes, 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 can do 7 hours of parenting classes, can have his record expunged so he has no arrest record, and this fucking county keeps arresting him. I think there are some fears that my sons have experienced over the last 7 years and 4 months. It would have been very scary to hear that your dad's going to jail and he's never going to be released because we're going to. Exactly, where's the 911 phone call to the Guamanian Police Department? Now, If possible, officers should speak directly with the children. Yes. Assess the child's need for protection. Right. Now, I just want you to know, mandatory reporters, yes, the officer should be attuned to the fact that the child may not want to stay at the residence, fearing another altercation. In 10 years of marriage, pooch, very rarely did myself and my wife have arguments. We really just didn't. And that morning, when she wanted to use half of the welfare money to go buy new clothes, as a parent, I was thinking, no, that's probably not a good idea. We were getting ready to move from Guam so that we could go through marriage reconciliation. Yes, I'd arranged so that we could move to the blue house behind Kingsway Foursquare Church. Yes, so that we could get some counseling because Heidi had hit me. Um, these altercations, police department. These domestic disturbance calls, yeah. Why don't you get me the phone call from Healthy Families of Clallam County to the police department on approximately May 24th of 2000, May 28th of 2012. Yes, where 3 days after Heidi had filed for dissolution of marriage, someone decided to call the police department and allege that I had attempted to contact her 20 days before. It really looks like this county does not fucking take it seriously. Now I'm wanting to sue every police officer. I want my sons, do you understand? And for every individual that has any legal liability for the